Hello, parents. My name is Ms. Cahill, and this video is going to review the College Prep Sophomore English course for the 2021-2022 school year. This video will introduce both teachers for this class, myself and Miss Iadarola, who you'll meet in just a second. I am the regular education teacher for English, and Miss Iadarola is the special education teacher who works with me to support your children in our class. Throughout the video, we'll introduce ourselves, go over some of the course expectations and rules, and share our contact information with you so that you can reach out to us if you have additional questions. So, let's get started. So here's a little bit of information about me so that you can know more about who's teaching your child this year. So I've been at West Hill High School for 8 years, and hopefully I'll be here for quite a few more. I'm a very proud dog mom, so you'll hear me talk about that all the time during class. I also love all things related to food, all things related to entertainment, and so those will work their way into conversations as well. I'm really enthusiastic about trying to stay organized in my classes. I find that makes it easier for my students to follow what's happening. And so my Google Classroom, my worksheets, everything that I try to do, I try to make sure all of my instructions are clear, all due dates are clear, all grading policies are clear, so that no one is confused when things move forward about what's expected of them. I'm also all about trying to include a positive and inclusive environment in my classroom, and so I ask that my students always help me see through with that goal.
Hello, parents, and welcome to this year's virtual open house. My name is Miss Iadarola, and I am your child's special education and co-teacher alongside Miss Cahill in our CP English 10 class for the 2021-2022 school year. So some of you might be wondering what a co-teacher's responsibilities are and how I can help support your child. So my responsibilities, along with Miss Cahill, are to support your child with any classwork, assignments, homework assignments, and anything we do in class to help them further their understanding of the content that we are delivering. This might look like giving them extra supports on their homework with a study guide or with an outline and anything else that comes as a challenge to them in our class. I will also be working alongside Ms. Cahill to deliver content, and we will be working together to ensure that your child has a successful year in our English class. I want to have you get to know me a little bit since we are not able to meet in person this year. So some things about me, as you can see on the screen, are that I am a huge ice cream enthusiast. As someone who loves desserts, I would definitely say that ice cream is my favorite dessert. And there's not really just one flavor, there's multiple that I love. I love to watch football on Sundays. This is my favorite season because I am able to watch football, and I just really enjoy spending the time and, of course, the delicious food that comes with football Sundays. I love to travel. So far, I have been to Bermuda, Australia, Thailand, Bali, Italy. I've been a lot of places, and I hope to continue after the pandemic is over and continue my travels. I, as Miss Cahill also mentioned, am a huge dog mom. And I love my sweet little mini golden doodle named Rocco. He is going to be 2 in just a few short weeks. I did study abroad in Australia during college, which was an amazing experience. And my favorite movies are Mrs. Doubtfire and Mary Poppins. So I hope that this helps you get to know me a little bit. And if you ever should have any questions regarding your child's progress or anything about your child's work in our class, please feel free to contact myself or Miss Cahill. My email is kiadarola@stanfordct.gov. And that is also linked on our Google Classroom. So your child has access to that information should you ever need it. So please let me know if you have any questions. And I'm looking forward to getting to know your child more, and I'm excited to work with them this school year. Bye-bye.
Throughout the course of the year in sophomore English, we are going to be focusing on both literature and nonfiction, and we'll be reading and writing and discussing the different texts that we cover. We're focusing on the 4 C's of education throughout the year, which are critical thinking, which is questioning and having a critical eye with what we read, creativity or thinking outside the box, communication, both verbal and written, and collaboration or working with other people in the classroom. So throughout the year, we're going to write in a variety of ways, including timed writing pieces during class and process writing pieces that they take in multiple steps. Your child's asked to bring the following materials to class, which include a 3-ring binder or a notebook, whichever works better for them is fine, a folder, a laptop or tablet, which will be provided by the school, unless you prefer to bring one from home, and then pens, pencils, highlighters, Post-its, all of that stuff that you use to stay organized, as well as whatever we're reading, which is the selected texts. Throughout the year, we're going to cover a wide range of those texts. The first is Lord of the Flies, which we've just begun reading. We may also read Catcher in the Rye, The Dewbreaker, Othello, The Bluest Eye, or other texts that are covered in the curriculum. We'll read some poetry as well, some older British poetry from 1750 to 1850, and we'll also look at some nonfiction works throughout the year. The grading for this course is on this slide here, and grading is broken into 2 categories. There are formative assessments, which are the day-to-day activities that your child does during class with their learning in progress, and summative assessments, which come toward the end of a unit where they're being tested on their learning in some way. There are some examples of different types of assignments just to help you conceptualize what these different categories mean. Formative assessments make up 30% of their overall grade, and summative assessments make up 70% of their overall grade. As far as formative assessments go, all work is graded using a holistic rubric. And I do take late work, but I only accept it if we haven't moved on from that content. I tell my students I don't like to assign work just to assign work. The work is moving toward a goal. So if we've already reached that goal through a summative assessment and it's no longer valuable for you to make up that assignment for the unit that we're in, I'm going to not accept it anymore because I want you to focus on what we're doing in the present time. For summative assessments, I will usually accept late work for that as well, but since we have a long time to work through those and because they have plenty of notice on those assignments, I do take late points off for that work. Now, if a student needs an extension on any assignment, they are always welcome to talk to me and advocate for themselves. I just ask that they do that prior to the due date of the assignment. And assignments will be submitted through different mediums. So some assignments will be submitted through Google Classroom. Some assignments may be submitted on paper during class, and other assignments may be submitted to turnitin.com or other online resources that your child will use in this class. As I said in a previous slide, I like to try and stay very clear and organized, so there should never be any confusion about where something should be submitted. And if anything, if your child's confused or if you're confused, you can always reach out to me via email at any time, and I can try and clarify for you. This slide here is going to show you the other rules that your child is expected to follow when they are in our classroom. First, students are required to dock their phones in an assigned caddy slot during class. So if you look behind me, you will see this big caddy here for cell phones, and there are little cards on each slot. Those cards have their names on them, so they put their phone in their assigned caddy slot at the start of class, and then they pick it up at the end of class when they're finished with their work. The reason for doing that is to minimize distractions with the phones. They have most things that they need on the computer, so there's really no reason for the cell phone in the classroom. That being said, if there's some kind of an emergency and your child needs to keep their phone on their person, all they have to do is let me know, and then they can keep it, and I'll make a little note to not dock them points for that. The reward for putting their phones in the caddy every single day without needing to be reminded personally is a few extra points at the end of the quarter, which is always nice. Students are also expected to arrive to class on time every single day, and of course, they should be prepared. So, if your child is going to be late to class, they should be bringing a pass from wherever they're coming from. If they're absent, they should be documenting that using the appropriate form provided by our Dean of Students, Mr. Pasmino. And if they need to stay home because of quarantine, either they were suffering from COVID themselves, or perhaps they were exposed and are waiting for testing to come back, I can live stream our class for them from home if they're well enough to participate, or they can participate through Google Classroom. If your child needs to be out for a quarantine, I just ask that they reach out to me, let me know what's going on, so that we can work out a plan that works for both of us. And then, of course, since we are in the middle of the pandemic, your child should be wearing their mask properly every day, not only in this classroom, but also when they walk in the halls as well. Throughout the year, your child is going to need to use a variety of online resources, which are listed on this slide here. I've created a class website, which will be helpful because it's a place to store audiobook files if they need those or prefer to read with those. I also will have other different resources to support the reading process on that website. Google Classroom will probably be the most used resource, and that's where I put the formative assessments like day-to-day assignments. Turnitin.com will primarily be used to submit longer works like summative assessments, such as papers and projects. And then PowerSchool should be used to keep up with grades, not only for your child, but also for you as well, because you do have access as a parent. If you're not on PowerSchool yet and you still need access, you should contact Ms. Letson, who's our technology support specialist, at the email here. And especially contact her if you still have not completed the acceptable use policy form, since that is how your child can get a computer and maintain access to their accounts. All right, so that wraps up this overview of the class, but if you still have any questions, you can reach out to either one of us by email. My email is skahill@stanfordct.gov, and Miss Iadrola's email is kiadarola@stanfordct.gov. If your child wants to email us, they can use the Stanford Public Schools email address that's listed below. This is only for internal emails within the school system, though, so as a parent, it's best to use the first one up here. If you decide that you want to discuss in more detail by scheduling a meeting, send one of us an email and we'd be happy to set it up for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your open school night, and I'm sure we'll be in touch again soon. Thanks. Bye.